Welcome to the Marlene Saunders Show, where we have real talk, real conversations, and you're welcome to it. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And welcome to the Blah 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 podcast. Welcome, everybody, to the show. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate everybody's support. So we're doing a follow up from yesterday, what we were talking about. And we're going to be talking about, friends before marriage. Okay. Hey, Deborah, how are you? Welcome. Good to see you. Happy Tuesday. I hope you are having a great day, and everybody who is listening, either now or in the replay, we're going to do a continuation from last night. So, where we ended yesterday, we ended talking about our people, our friends, and why aren't people friends when it comes to marriage. So that's the question that I have to ask. Hey, GeoVlogs H-Town, welcome. How are you doing? And that's something that I put to you all, Is it something that you have thought about? Have you considered it? Is it something that you believe in? Yes. Happy Tuesday to everybody. And of course, hit the like. Hit the like for your girl. Hit the like. Thank you so much. So this is the question that I have. When we think about friendship and marriage, let's just be honest. People jump the gun when it comes to just dating in general. People they go by desire, they go by the lust, they go by just getting to the bed. And then afterwards, there's no foundation there because people these days, I find that they don't get to know one another. People don't get to know one another in relationships. And I will say this, that friendship, helps build a trust in relationship. Definitely. And trust is the pillar, the foundation of a long-term relationship. And I understand not everybody gets into relationships to have long term, or they're not doing it for marriage. They're just doing it for companionship or many other reasons. But those who are seeking to have a long term and lasting relationship, friendship is the way to go. And when you're able to develop that sort of trust from friendship, your guard comes down and you don't have worries or fears about being yourself. And a lot of people don't know how to be themselves. They don't know what they want. They don't know how to be a friend. Hey, Realist One, how are you? Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Continuation from yesterday. I hope you're good. So I have to say that people need to learn to be friends, develop some sort of foundation before they go from friend to I do. So I would love to hear your opinions in the chat. What do you all think about this topic, and do you think that people jump the gun? Do you think people actually take the time to be friends? And according to what I read here on Google from September 14th, 2021, that according to the latest research, being friends first before dating is the most common way that romantic relationships begin. This is what they say. But I don't know if I believe that, because I see people, they get together, but then they don't stay together. And it's because people just have this romanticized idea about what a relationship should be, preconceived notions, what society tells you that your relationship should be. People don't take the time to get to know one another to see if it's even a person. Like, do we gel well together? Will this work out? Do we have the same, not the same, but can I agree? Can I live with, what they're about, what they want? They kind of just see somebody and they go by the looks, they go by, the things that they have, flashy things, material things, or they just don't want to be alone, or they get taken over by desire. When it has to be more to a lasting relationship. I'm not talking about those who are just trying to give in to their desires. That's something easy to do. Anybody can do that. You can pick up anybody off the street if that's what you're looking for. But I'm talking about the people who want a lasting relationship. If you want it to last, there to be longevity, you got to start off first by getting to know people. Everybody is all about the fast lane in relationships. I think society has a lot to deal with it. It's a good thought. Yeah, because if you see on TV, it's like they meet. The next thing, it's they're married, and baby. And I'm not telling nobody if that's what you want. Then of course, always go for the things that you want. But people need to learn to get to know one another. People need to learn to have conversations, to talk, to communicate. And I find that a lot of people don't know how to communicate. They don't want to communicate. There's a lot of trapping. Let's be honest. There's a lot of trapping that happens. People lie. They lie about what they want in relationships. Oh, I want this and I want that, knowing full well that's not what they're about. They have no intention of doing that. They're just saying it to get the person. And then when they get what they want, they're gone. But for those who are seeking and maybe you can't find what you want, maybe you have things backwards. Maybe you need to focus and think about, the intentions of being a friend to somebody before you go into thinking about dating the person. Get to know a person and decide if somebody you even want to continue to even have that sort of thought process. You got to think about, who really do I want to attach myself to? Hey, Word, how are you? Welcome. Thanks so much for being here. How are you doing? Hope you're all right. Right, real as possibly. Hey, Caught, what's going on? Good to see you. How you doing, sis? Welcome in. Happy Tuesday to everybody. hmm Yeah, I find that a lot of people don't know how to. Let's start off first by saying this. A lot of people don't know themselves. They don't even know what they want, and they're talking about. Oh, I appreciate that word. I hope you feel better. Um, a lot of people don't even know what they're about, what they want, what they need. But I see it a lot. Let's be honest. I'm speaking from a woman's point of view. Women, women sometimes, like, we get caught up in looking. Our friends and other people are in relationships. People we know, they're getting married. People we know, they're having children. And if that's something you want, then you try to be on the fast track. I got to speed up this. I got to speed up the process. But you can't rush something good. You got to give things time for things to blossom and grow. And I believe that's the reason why a lot of relationships don't work out, is they're running and they're jumping from zero all the way at to 100. And then when they get to 100 and they get a person, then they find out this is not even the person I want, because you didn't spend time in the beginning stages to talk to the person, to find out who you want, find out how you feel about somebody. I think people go from high to I love you way too fast. I'm always like, hey, you need to chill. like two months 2 months later, they're already talking about they're in love with each other. I'm like, that's new. That's new. I'll say that. I'm not trying to knock anybody. I'm not saying that people can't fall in love like that, but for the most part, within 2 months, that should be a good friendship. But not on the course where you. This is just my personal opinion. I feel how I feel. I think people go way too fast and don't even really realize what they want. You know, at the end of the day, you have to know what you want. But it's a lot of deceit that happens. A lot. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much, Gio. Yeah, everybody, please hit the like for your girl. Very much appreciated. Hey, Black Guns and Gardens. I hope you're good. Right, realists. Hope everybody had a blessed day. Hope everybody's day was fantastic and week so far is fantastic. And you're good. Thank y'all so much for being a part of the chat family over here. And these days, you better take a year to get to know someone because some people are crazy. Say that again, Caught. People are crazy. And I do think that it takes a while. It takes a while to find out about a person's like watch them, you know. You do definitely have to watch people because what people say, how people promote themselves and how they say, "Oh, I'm about this and I'm about that," and they're not about none of that. You know, people a lot of people don't aren't honest with themselves. First of all, they don't know what they're about. They don't know what they want. They're just doing what maybe to make their family happy because, or they feel alone and they feel like I need to be in a relationship and just anybody, you know, any warm body, like, okay, I guess I'll marry you. I guess I'll like you. When later on, when you start living with the person, you find out like, this is not gonna work. So they put all in. They put so much in already. They have so much invested, and then you find out you don't even want to be with this person. You find out you don't even like this person. So my question that I got to ask all of you: do you think that it's important for people to start off with being friends? And how, what do you look for, like, in the beginning stages of friendship? All is well. How are you? I'm doing great, Black Guns and Gardens. Thank you so much for asking. And to everybody in the chat too, I hope everybody's doing great. um I do definitely believe that 100% that people need to start off with friends before you jump into the love thing. But for me personally, some of the things that I look for in a relationship that I think is important, the basis of a good romantic relationship and friendship is honesty, um, respect, loyalty, and kindness. If a person in the beginning stage of the relationship can't do those things and can't be those things, I just don't think it should go any further. I just don't think it should go any further. If a person is not kind to you, is not a good listener, is not respectful, um, doesn't make time out for you, that's the basis of a good friendship, you know. And then things can grow and blossom from there. But if you don't have those seeds, you know, planted in the beginning and allow that to take root, and then after time and the actions of another person, that's how the friendship becomes water. It gets watered. It starts to blossom. You see a lot of men killing their significant other. It's so sad. Yeah, and vice versa. And vice versa, because I definitely do watch those crime shows, and I'm seeing it's going both ways these days. It's going both ways. That people are unaliving each other, and I do think that not all the time, but sometimes, because you didn't find out who the person was before you go and get in this relationship with them, before you go and you move in with somebody. You don't even know their credit history. You don't you haven't checked out their medical history. You don't you know nothing about this person. You're basically living with a stranger. People know how to hide stuff. I will agree with that, Gio. I will agree with that. That people do. There's a lot of people, and they do play the game very well. They play a lot of games. They play a lot of mind games. There's a lot of deceit. And I will never understand that for the life of me. Why, if you really don't care for somebody, you don't want to stay committed to that person, like you want to run the fields and be with every single person out there, then that's your right to do that. But don't like play games with another person's feelings. Like, that's not right. I definitely don't. I never will agree with that. You know, people just need to be who they are. And just come to the table like, I'm interested in a relationship. I'm interested in getting to know you, but I need to know you first before I involve my heart. And I remember my mom and my dad used to tell me that all the time. Be careful of how quickly you give your heart away to somebody. People get so involved sometimes in the relationship and the manipulation. They let another person manipulate their minds, like in a very short period of time. The next thing you're saying, you love that person. And I don't get that part. How can you love somebody you don't know? You know nothing about them. It takes time for you to actually love somebody, but to each his or her own. Caught says an NBA player just recently charged with assault and strangulation of his girlfriend, fracturing her vertebrae in her neck. Oh, some brutal stuff going on out there, right? I know y'all watch these true crime stories, and I've seen it. I've actually seen, like, when I've gone to restaurants and I see people, showing up for dates, and it's like they talk for a little bit at the bar. Next thing you know, they're leaving with each other. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, they're saying they're in a relationship. About 4 or 5 months down the road, they're married. And I'm not saying that it can't happen like that, but to me, that's so scary. Relationships are scary, anyways. Yes, I read that caught. She should have found out that he was crazy instead of going for the football players. Yeah, and there's actually people who that's what they're about. I'm not talking about anybody, but there are people out there that they're just about the monetary status. Like, they go by, the eye. It's what catches their eye. How they look, how they talk, how smooth they are. How beautiful they are. Where, don't get me wrong, nobody wants to be with somebody that looks like a frog, or you know you have to be in a relationship with somebody that you're attracted to, but that can't be the only thing. My mom used to always say, empty bag can't stand up. So a person can, they appear to look good on the outside, but on the inside of that bag, they're hollow. There's nothing to them. There's nothing in their mind. They're not about anything. They have no goals. They're not driven. Actually, these people are lazy and crazy. So you definitely have to keep your eyes all the way open. Keep your eyes open. All of those who are out there trying to date. Yeah, they threw it all away. People will throw everything away. They will do everything just in order to have somebody. There's people out there and they got some mental illness mixed with mental illness mixed with crazy. They're on certain medications, and they definitely need to be a person under medical care. But they're out here, they're deceiving people, and they're unaliving people. And there are people actually who are out here as true serial killers. So y'all stay vigilant. Stay vigilant, everybody. Yeah, it can be easy to get caught up, especially when a person, especially who's vulnerable. And I see a lot of these dating sites where people put way too much on these dating sites, let people know so much about them that why would a person even need to get to know you if you put everything out there? You already tell everybody in the world, where you work, where you went to school. You're basically making a roadmap for people to deceive you. Oh, okay, if they say that, let me say I did this too. People can put on a persona, a smoke screen. They can be a person behind a mask, and then after you're around them a while, then that mask falls off because you can't keep up, the fakeness for too long. Eventually, it will come out. This is why I look at a person with both eyes, not my heart, because they can put on a show. Yeah, a good one too. Realist say he knows himself. All right, realist. Black Guns and Gardens. I have been married for 23 years. I think success in a relationship truly begins with being your authentic self. Yes, definitely. Definitely. But there's a lot of people, not everybody is like that. A lot of people are only out here to get things that they want, their agendas, their motives, get their desires, you know, they, so that they can get the things that they want, but they don't care about other people as long as they get what they want. And there's some people out here, all y'all ladies and gentlemen, be careful of all these people. They're out here catfishing and taking people money. People are out here trying to get visas and all kinds of things. So be careful about sending people money and giving people money. You'll meet them, talk to them 2 or 3 times. They'll be saying they're in love with you. Let's get married just so that they can get papers or they can get your money. And then once they get your money, then they disappear. Mm. Yeah. Congratulations. Yes, to you too, Black. That's awesome. We don't really hear that much about people these days being in marriages for a long time. When I say I know myself, I mean I know how it feels to get caught up. Oh, okay. Okay, thanks for the clarification, Realist. Hey, Jags Farm. Welcome. How you doing? Realist one got emotions. Oh, for real? I'm just messing with you, Realist. Hmm. Yes, relationship scammers. What goes around comes around. Yeah, that's what I talked about yesterday. What goes around comes around. People think that they can get away with things forever, but they really can't. Eventually, the mask falls off, and you really find out what people are about. But you got to take some time to get to know people. You really do. Um, so I want to read some information that I found online. It says research shows that most romantic couples started as friends. Okay. So for single folks ready to find a romantic partner, um, it's going to have some challenges overcoming the awkwardness of a virtual date and deciphering whether you trust the person enough to meet up. Now could be dating through certain dating apps, but you must find out about a person instead of just going by the looks of a person. How do they talk? Pay attention. A lot of people, they get caught up in this dating thing. They really do. People truly get caught up by just, oh, they look good. They look good. A person can look good on the outside, but be very evil on the inside in their mind. It's kind of hard to find out the intentions of people, but it does take time. You will, if you really truly pay attention, you can find out like when a person's trying to deceive, people who are lying, they're pretending, they're making themselves seem something that they're not. It doesn't take too long. Yeah. Hey Sirius, how you doing? Welcome. I'm about to put the link in the chat here, for those who have something to add to this topic. So what do you all think? I have to ask that. Do you all think that it's possible for people to be friends? Do people even do that these days? Become friends before they get into these romantic relationships? Or is this a thing of the past? Is this the old fashioned way? Do people even do that anymore? Um, Seek friendship with one another, get to know one another to find out what a person is even about. Did I miss Miss Tracy? I definitely didn't see Miss Tracy come in. Hey, Miss Tracy, how are you doing? Welcome. I'm gonna get back to your comments. I was trying to get this link in the chat. Okay, there it goes. Let's see what I just saw a comment. Okay, so Gio says, "Ooh, they so fine, child. They be a crazy person." And I look at people's actions. Definitely, I've met I've met a few people, and boy, do they look good. They definitely look good. They talk a good game, but when it comes to the things that you actually are looking for, you can't just go by, oh, they look good or what they're saying to you. You got to see, like, okay, is what they say following, is it balanced? Is it level with actually what they say they're about? What a person can talk a good game and say, I'm about this, but then you find out the reality, they're not about that at all. They're a scammer, they're a liar, they're they're not driven. Or it could be, they could be a good person but just not a good person for you. And I think that that's something very important to find out too. There's a lot of people and they're good people, but not everybody is your cup of tea. Everybody is not what you want for the next, for the next long term in your life. Everybody that you meet is not meant to be the person for you to love for the rest of your life. Some people are just meant to be somebody that you meet and you talk to, or they could be a really good friend. So, hey, James, how are you? Welcome. Good to see you. Happy Tuesday. Um, so, why being friends first before dating can prove to be an excellent foundation for romance. So, to explain why being friends first before dating, it's important to look into, the actions of people, not making assumptions, not living a fairy tale, because a lot of people, they live this fairy tale life. They think that, it's going to be like in the movies, that they're going to meet somebody and they're going to get married and they're going to live happily ever after. Life is not perfect. People aren't perfect. You can't think that you're going to find a perfect person, that you'll never have disagreements. That's not reality. We have to be realistic and be balanced. And a lot of people are not balanced these days. They're just going by what other people are saying, or they're going by, yeah, they go by what the person says to them versus what their actions. A person can talk a lot and say a lot of things and sound really smooth. It sounds good to listen to, but the reality of it, like, how do they talk? Is this a person that I can see myself with? It, do I can I see a future with them? Do they have their stuff together? Is this something that I've been looking for to sign up for? There's a person I can build with and grow with. That's real. There's always going to be, because people are different. Hey, Gio. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Hey, what's up? What's up, chat? Well, yes.
Go ahead, Gio.
Okay, just a second.
Okay. Yeah, so this is Geo Vlogs, H-Town, everybody. Welcome her to the show. I'm interested to hear what Geo has to say about friends before marriage.
Well, I can just say this that if you gotta when you think about marriage, and when I think about marriage, I want to marry somebody that I am friends with, like first, because this is a person for the rest of your life. And you have to genuinely like that person. Love can come after. But I'm just saying, if you genuinely like that person, and it would be easier to stay with them for the rest of your life. Also, you have to you have to be exactly who you are so that the person don't get no surprise. You know, that's what I have. That's what I if I ever get married again, that's exactly what I would be looking for. That I want to be friends. You know, because it's very important, because after the honeymoon and all of this stuff is over with, you still got to like the person that you're with. What about that, Marlene?
See, and that's what I'm talking about. That right there. That's honesty right there. I can say that a lot of times people go by this fairy tale, the whirlwind, being the celebrity. Oh, it's so exciting. I'm engaged. I'm getting married. I feel like that's going to be another probably part three that I'll get into. But a lot of people, they spend so much time, preparing for a wedding, but they don't have there's no foundation. There's nothing there for a marriage. They focus so much of their energy on getting married, but they put nothing into staying married. That experience afterwards.
Right. And I believe too that you have to get to know somebody all the way, not just 3 4 months or a year. Take your time and get to really know people, because people can hide stuff really good. you
Mhm.
know uh, if at some point in time people are going to get tired of hiding who they who they really are, and they will show you. you know Me myself, I think the other night we were talking about something. I think that was last night. I said, was I really ready? Would I get married again? Okay, because my
Mhm.
husband passed away. And after I got off this live, I thought about it. I'm like, child, I don't think so. you know,
Oh, okay, okay, Gio. I'll stop you right there. Why don't you think you would get married again? Because you don't want to go through that
and
anymore, or
I
you're
don't
just
want
enjoying
to,
it
yeah,
now?
because it's the dating scene out here today is rough. And you run into a lot of people that are scammers. You run into a lot of people that want what you have, and that's just it. You know what I'm saying? They don't really want you. They just interested in what you have. And and then there are just some people that just, I don't know. I'm just, I don't know. If I find somebody that want to be my friend and we can be friends, and I can see who you are and you are authentic and I know what to expect and all of this stuff, maybe. But I don't really know if I want to give up all my freedom I have today after I really thought
Mhm.
about it.
Well, that's honest though. It's nothing wrong with that. I always say it's not everybody who's meant to be in a marriage. Marriage is not for everybody. It has to be something that you actually are ready to be committed to. And I wanted to highlight Sirius's comment. She said these people are out for money and clout. Any way they can get it. It doesn't matter who they step on to get it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's yeah. All I know is if I'm not saying that I'm against it, but it would be hard to uh well, I don't know if it would be hard or not, but all I have to say is this, that you have to be a friend. I have learned that from the bottom of my heart. That's why one of the reasons why Philip and I stayed married a long time, because we were friends to each other before the romance started. So that's how come I can speak on that.
Yeah, I can say that too, Gio. I understand, and realist and myself and everybody in the chat has the same sentiments. Condolences on your husband.
Right. And that just happened last year, everybody. If
Mm-hmm.
people didn't know. But
Very,
I'm
very
good.
apologetic.
I'm dealing good.
Very
Yeah.
apologetic. So let's welcome the word to the chat. Hey, word.
Hey, how you doing, sis? Hey, Gio.
Hey.
Hey, chat. I apologize if I speak to people in the chat. My eyes still bother me a little bit. Kind of hard to keep up with everything moving. But yeah, I'm good. I'm alive. But this topic is awesome because it's a couple, like you said, everybody, different. And with my wife, it was like love at first sight. Well, I was in love with her when I first met her. I didn't even know her name. It was just her personality. It was her aura. It was more of a feeling of attraction, and it wasn't because of her body, but it was more of her personality. And I used the term "fell in love." Like I didn't love her. I, I fell in love with what I perceived her to be. Um, so there's a difference between like falling in love and being in love. But we was cool. We was just friends for like 3 months before we started dating, and we dated for 5 years. And then we got married. We've been married for 5 years now. So we've been together for almost 11 years. But what you said, that was the biggest difference between marriage and my first marriage. Was, we were friends though. I got to not only know her, but I was learning myself also, what I was capable of, what I could tolerate. I was defining myself as I was learning who she was. And I think that's the key for us because we friends first before uh, we lovers, we partners, we friends. I mean, we established a strong foundation. And for us, like I think we had our first argument probably like 2 weeks ago. It was because I didn't want to go see a doctor. Like we really argued. That was the first time we actually argued. Other than that, but we got time to know each other. I knew what she liked. She knew what I liked. She knew what I didn't like. I knew what she didn't like. And that time that we were building as friends, we were able to cultivate our relationship. Not like when people think of like romantic relationship, you're just thinking of, the act versus what romance really is. The little things matter to her more than the big things. Me noticing her eyebrows when she doing, me noticing when she losing weight. Me, my wife loves clarification. She loves acknowledgement. So when she cook, if the food is good, I acknowledge her. If it's not good, then I'll pick with her. But I know her, so I know what I can do to turn her day around if she having a bad day. She know what to do to turn my day around. And I don't even think people consider that when they're in relationships with people. They just think, as long as I bring X, Y, and Z, that's it. Like you said earlier, the hard part is not getting the person, it's keeping the person. And if you don't understand the person, it's going to be hard to understand when they evolve because everyone changes. Time changes everything and everybody. So if you don't know a person from where they're at, how you supposed to know a person from where they're going? That was my whole understanding. I'm gonna go on mute.
Yeah, that's a true word. Thank you so much for that. A lot of people, they don't want to put anything into being a friend. Um, they don't want to put anything into be a friend. They want to they want it to be easy. They want it to be fast. They want to go by a whirlwind or a fantasy. Oh, we got experience. I don't know who this is. Hold on. Hold on a second, guys. Hello?
Yeah,
Experience? You there?
yeah. It's kind of like coke. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. No, I was trying to see because I don't know this person. Experience experience. I don't know who it is, and
Oh,
they're not saying anything, so I don't know.
Marlene,
Oh,
I think you were on my stream just today.
oh, okay. Oh, experience Africans. Hi, welcome.
How are you doing?
Good.
Good. I just came back to show my support also.
Oh, thank you so much. You have something that you wanted to add?
Yeah, I didn't join you from the beginning, but when I saw the title of the stream, like has to do with relationship, why people don't uh, aren't more friends before and after marriage, Uh, most of the times I keep saying this, and it's something that is happening in our generation. Most people get married for the wrong reasons. And because they do get married for the wrong reasons, they are never friends before they start even the relationship, and they will never be friends even after they get married. Uh, Most times, because I think it's more or less for mutual benefits these days than even just being able to say, I want to settle down with somebody. So that's how I see it.
Well, thank you so much for your commentary on that. I want to welcome. Hey, Jax,
How
welcome.
you doing? How y'all doing?
Good,
My
good.
2 cents after reading the title too. Me and my friend was not. I mean, correction. Me and my wife was not friends when we got married. I
Hmm.
met my wife in the later part of May, and the same day I met her, within an hour, I asked her to marry me.
What? Wait a minute. Hold on. We
I,
gonna need some clarification.
I was not desperate. I was I was not desperate. I was a soldier, and hey, I was a fool out there. But after 1 hour, I asked my wife to marry me. And the 28th of this month will be 38 years.
Wow.
wow. That's amazing.
But
After I want to know like what made that hour so amazing for you to act like what was the conversation that you had?
well, not, we didn't have too much of a conversation. She was more shy, and I think I was doing most of the talking. But she was kind of shy, and actually, I was in the military. I went to Hunter Army Airfield with my aunt and uncle, and they had dinner, and they asked me to go get some ice. So I said, "Hey, you want to go get some ice with me?" At first, she said no. I said, "You want to go get some ice with me?" She said, "Okay." And after that, when we came back, I was talking to her. I raised up the back of my trunk, and I always kept a safe in the back of my trunk. I was a soldier, so I opened it up right there, and I said, "You want to get married?" And that was it.
She said yes.
She didn't give me an answer.
Hmm.
So romantic.
It took me 3 days to get an answer,
Okay.
and she said yes, but I threw another rock at her. I met her in May, and in July, I told her, "You gonna marry me now, or you'll never see me again."
What?
Oh, wow.
I was getting ready to deploy to Germany,
Okay.
and that was in October that I was supposed to deploy. And I told you, better marry me now. You'll never see me again, because that was me. I was always on the go. And we got married on September 28th.
Hmm.
But don't get me wrong. Marriage is not always happy. It's not always sad. You just
Yeah.
learn how to get along with each other and make the best of it. And after you give and after you get, it just vice versa. And then after a certain amount of time, everything just flows together. You just learn each other.
But also I can say, but either one of you weren't crazy. Not everybody can have that experience to meet somebody in an hour, no, and get married and to be successful. Some people wind up unalived because they're not wrapped too tight.
I think I have to say I was the crazy one due to the fact I was in the military, in the infantry, and always gone.
Yeah, well, that was back in the day, and when people were more honest, and
Exactly.
people were, they were forthright, and we wanted to be married. We wanted to be in the marriage and be friends. And they, honey, try that today. You'll come up with a scammer.
Exactly.
And I'm just being flat out honest about it, because back in the day, I understand. I really had a lot of fun, had lots of really nice boyfriends and this and that. And I was very lucky to be married to Philip. Uh, because that's when I learned about true happiness. But like I said, like last night, Marlene and I were talking about what come around, and someone asked me if I would get married again. I said, yeah. But after I really got off and thought about it, I'm like, because I don't know what people have so many agendas today.
And you said you didn't want to train a man again, right?
No, I didn't train this one that I was married to. He was already trained.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? So I don't think I'm tired.
well, I kid with folks, and I tell folks, I said, if my wife, she was a diamond right now, I don't know whether I get married again, because it'll be hard trying to train these women of today.
Yeah. Oh, now let's talk about that.
Oh, train.
Train.
Excuse me.
Hold it now. Let's get something straight. Now, when I say train a woman, I'm not talking about being the boss of the woman and have her do. I want my 3 meals a day. I want the bed clean. I want this clean. I want the house clean. I'm not that kind of fella.
Yeah. No, I wasn't even thinking about it like that either. I was just thinking about training these girls today. Child, you ain't got this, and the main thing is a whole bunch of money. You can forget them. Okay. And these older men, to me, from what I done ran into, and I'm just being honest, they don't want nobody around their age or anything like that. They want somebody like in their 30s or 40s or something like that. And them the ones that get ripped off. They just there for your money and whatever else that they can take. Now, not all women are like that, but I'm just saying what I have been talking to my brothers about, and a couple of other guy friends that are around our age and stuff like that. I'm like, well, what's the problem? Because we too seasonal. That's what it is. And we know exactly what we want. I don't know. But what do you think about that, J3?
Well, I believe that I can't speak for all men, but I could tell you what I think men think at times. They believe that a younger woman will keep them young. But the point to it is that younger woman is not keeping them young. Everything that they think they can do. Right, I'm 62 years old. I go get me a 32-year-old woman right now, and depending on what her energy is, she might get a good 2 minutes. That's that. I'm talking about her energy.
Yeah.
But then now my energy, if she's my age or something, we both know what to do. We know how long to go and what we know what to expect.
Right.
But when you got somebody younger, they feel like they can do it all. And when you don't meet to the expectation, it's basically gonna be about money then.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I want to hear what experience African has to say.
Yeah. I want to say he is a great man to have actually have seen somebody in less than an hour and decided this is what he wants. Most men would actually see what they want the first time they see it. They don't need time to think about it, and they will just see it. Sometimes you would argue with yourself. Self doubt and other things might make you not go for what you want. But when a man sees a woman that he really wants, at first sight, he sees it. For women, I don't know. So for him to have been able to get married to a woman and stay over the age of 38 years with this woman and still with this woman, it means he really saw what he wanted. And like Maron said, also the women of their generation probably are not the same with our women right now today. In the beginning, I said in my statement, most people marry today for the wrong reasons. And because they do get married for the wrong reasons, it's either for mutual benefits or for individual benefits. I want a younger man, or I want an older woman because I need money, or I want a younger man because I have money and I can control the younger man. So those are the reasons that make things not work out for most marriages today. When you find two people of the same age or about the same age group getting married, the understanding is far better because they come from a generation of the same kind of people. They can really understand themselves. But when it goes the other way around, like an older woman and a younger man, sometimes somebody in the developed countries with somebody in the less developed countries, that is happening right now. You find a lot of women from Europe and the Americas coming down to Africa to get married to somebody either younger or somebody less privileged that they are, and they will feel like, okay, because I bring you in, I should have control over you, and it doesn't work like that. So those are some of the reasons. Like I said, it has to do with how you get married, how the relationship starts, which foundation you set the relationship or the marriage on determines how far you can go in the relationship. That's what I know.
Wow, that's pretty deep. I like what you had to say, experienced Africans, because
Yes.
one of my brothers told me, a man, I already know who he want. That's just the bottom line. If he see you the first time, that's it. He knows. And I kind of believe that because when I got married, when I met Philip, he knew, and he told me that he knew. But we didn't get married like right away. You know, we talked to each other. We became friends. We moved it up to the romance level, and then we got married. But I didn't really want to get married, but he wanted to get married, so he asked me 3 times, and I said yes. That the last time. So yeah,
Well,
I believe men do know who they really want
well,
right off the bat.
I can say that my parents were married for 52 years, and my mom said that my dad said he saw her across the room, and he said he knew right away. He
Yeah.
said he said it was instant. He was like, and my mom already had a kid, and he had a kid, so they already were coming with one child. And my mom was kind of like in the mode where she was disgusted with relationships because of the previous guy, but my daddy wouldn't take no for an answer. So my mom said she kept saying no, no, no to him, and she said after a while she was like, "Well, you don't give up, do you?" He's like, "Oh, well, I'm not going nowhere." So that was it. My mom said after 1 month, she was like, I think she said it was 60 days. In 60 days, they were engaged.
Yeah, that's nice. But there's another thing. Family upbringing has a lot to do with how you live your own life. You know, if you come from a family that has lasted so long without being broken, you probably wouldn't want to be the first person to go into that kind of a lifestyle. So you would definitely respect the relationship that you have and wouldn't want to jeopardize it or to be the first in the family to have like a broken relationship. So there are so many things that you will do to try to avoid it. So family upbringing also helps a lot. If you come from a family it's that has brought you up well properly, that has good family values, I'm very sure you wouldn't want to, you know, do otherwise. So it also helps.
Right. I agree with that 100%. Values are very important, and I'm not saying all the time, but sometimes that can be a factor. And besides building the friendship, I think it does take some people some time if they have had some either bad relationship, whether dating relationships or a bad previous marriage, that it may take them a little time to find trust with another person even
Yeah.
before the friendship.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. I'll have to step down. It's actually 6:30 a.m. on
Th-
my side.
Ooh,
thank you so much for being here, Experience
6:30
African.
a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm right here
Thank
in
you.
Dubai actually.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Bye
have a
bye.
great one, Jax. Thank
You
you.
too.
Nice meeting you. Also, Jules, thank you also. I'll check out your channels. If
Yeah,
you can leave a
that's your
comment,
channel, Experience with African.
Yes.
experience Africans.
Yeah. Thank you so much. When you drop down, I'm going to have one of my moderators put your link in the chat. Have a great rest of
Right.
your day.
All
Okay.
right, thank you so
See you.
much. All right, thank you so much.
All right.
I
Bye.
believe. Have a good one.
Yeah, you do have the same thing.
Better yet, get some rest.
Yeah.
What were you
It's
saying? What were you saying, Jax?
I believe, okay, one thing about my wife and myself, yeah, I was a soldier. I was a wild soldier doing some everything, but I was brought up in the church. My Between 18 and 20, I think 23, I was a fool. I did some everything. Well, you know what I mean, did some everything. But
Mm-hmm.
after that, I think I kind of got tired of doing everything. And I told my grandmother, I said, Mama, I think I'm ready to get married. And I told this to her in, I forgot what year it was. I think I told to her in 83, 83 or 84 is when I told her. I didn't get married to 85. But during that time, I was kind of on the straight and narrow after I told her that. I wasn't running around, wasn't doing all the other stuff that I used to do. And I was fairly decent and straight. So when I met her, she was also a church girl. And I find out now I never knew her. I used to go to her church on New Year's. And that's the only time I would go to her church. I knew her pastor and everything, but I only go on New Year's, and that was it. The church I went to was about 5 or 6 towns over, and I really didn't meet her until I went to my aunt and uncle's house on the Air Force base. That's when I met her, and it's been going ever since.
Wow, that's incredible that you used to go to the same places, but you didn't know her. So what would you say? For a lot of people who have never experienced a relationship, that type of relationship, to find somebody and find that sort of connection, what are some of the things that maybe through the years have changed? It,
I think. Well, we both we were when we met. I think I did most of the talking because she was. I guess you could say she was scared. This big muscle bound fella from the military doing this, that, and other, and she just listened more than she talked. I said, "Let's go to dinner," She said, "Yeah, I go to dinner with you." And at the time, she didn't tell me she didn't eat fish. And I took her to a restaurant and I ordered a fish buffet. And it was a big platter that they brought out with different fish, fried fish, and all this other stuff on it. And then when they put it on the table, she's gonna say, "I don't eat fish." That was the first time she made me mad. If you didn't eat fish, you should have told me you didn't eat fish. We were going out to dinner. And things back then, I think it was only $21, $22, and we had a big meal. But that's the only thing I can actually say that she made me mad about was if she didn't eat fish, she should have told me she didn't eat fish. Now she eat fish big time.
What?
That's a great story. I love that story.
It's true.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
And another, I tell you another story. One thing that makes it good for me is once I got married, she spent a month and a half with my mother. I was nowhere around. I was in Germany, and it seemed like there was always bumping heads. So I got tired of her crying on the phone to me, and I talked to the people in the military. I said, "Okay, your wife, she can come over in January." So she came over to Germany. She didn't nobody. She didn't know anybody. She couldn't speak the language. She couldn't go any place. We only had one car, and I drove. She didn't know how to drive, and all of a sudden, she just sat down and she was telling me, "Your mama did this to me. Your mama did that to me. Your mama this. Your mama that." And when my son was born, the whole thing changed from there. She tell everybody that's the best daughter she ever had. Every time you turn around, my daughter this. I said, "You got a son, you ain't got no daughter." It's kind of like she kicked me to the curve, and now my wife was her daughter, and more like I was the son-in-law instead of the son. After my son was born, they became so close, and man, you can pry them apart.
wow.
And my mother's last days, she moved back here and stayed with me. I didn't have to do anything. My wife did everything for her, and they just became the best of friends.
Mm.
And I think my mother was hard on her because she looked at you taking my son from me. But once they actually, I say, they had to be separated from each other. Once they got separated, that's when the how mom doing, how my baby doing, all around. The next thing when we came back to the States, you couldn't separate them. You
They
cannot
had, they
separate
had
them.
they had to get to know each other.
Yes.
Hmm. So let's welcome. Thank you so much for telling that, Drex. Let's welcome Nexie.
Hello, everybody.
Hello,
Hey,
Nessie.
Marlene.
And Nancy.
Hi.
How are you?
So I'm doing great. Thank you so much for coming up. Let me ask your experience, Miss Nexie. What do you think about people being friends before and in marriage?
Um, well, to me, I think it's from my experience, my husband and I were friends before we became anything else. Um, it's very important. I think that, you get to know yourself. You're yourself when you're a friend, right? Your likes, dislikes, you can tell your friend when you don't like something, you can tell your friend anything, and you're comfortable around your friend. So marrying your friend, it's actually a good thing. Um, but not many people do that, and I think that sometimes that can hinder the relationship because communication or the being comfortable with each other, that knowing yourself well, that is not there. They're starting, brand new once they get married to get to know each other, or their true self, as they say, right, comes out. once you get married. So for me, it's a very important thing to do.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that. That's not the experience of everybody, but it is the experience of some. Because I do remember when at the end of my dad's life, when he had cancer and everything. Um, this is after they were already married for 52 years. My mom said that everything went full circle again. Like in the beginning, it was like love. It was all of those things, and being a father and a mother to the children. And then it turned right back from how it started when they first met. They went right back to being friends. She said it wasn't really the romance thing anymore. Like she said, it just changes. So
Yeah,
she said for her, if she never had the friendship, when the love, not that the love goes away, but that's not the number one thing anymore. Now it's like taking care of the person and taking care of your friend and making sure they're good and okay. And she said she always said that if she never had that foundation of getting to know him a little bit and being his friend, and that they could talk, like she was like, you got to really like the person that you're with, or it just won't last. And I think that that's what some relationships lack. They don't they don't put in any time to really care about what the other person that they're with needs, that they're just about themselves.
that is true.
But
But
let me
the thing here, Marlene, is for me, my experience, right? I know, and thinking of your parents as well, is that when you're first married, it's a love like no other, because you're barely getting together. You're starting this.
What happened?
I think her mic went out for a second. You still there,
You guys
Nancy?
history or whatever. Mom
Okay.
says it doesn't die. Oh, I'm sorry. It doesn't die. What happens is, you're so busy with kids and life, that romance, and people that go into a marriage thinking that it's going to be like that forever, it's unrealistic. Life gets in the way. Life is messy. you know you get busy. You're doing many other things around your relationship, and as you're making sure that your children are growing, um, oh, good, and going to school, and making sure that they're going to be in a good college, or saving for this, saving for that. You don't have time for that romance, that a lot of couples want, and which is, I noticed that, at times that is why they break up, because they don't have the same kind of love, and it's not going to be the same kind of love. You have to grow with your partner, with the person you chose to grow old with. You have to grow, and the romance is going to change. The love is going to be different. It's going to be a different kind of love, still love, but it's going to be different, because, like I said, you're busy with life. For us, I think that the fact that we were friends, um, we were able to share the a lot more than I think I would not been able to share with somebody that I didn't know. Like, if I would have married him after, like, a month or 2 months of knowing him, I don't think I would have been as comfortable as I was with him, marrying him after, we had a friendship of a year and a half, or whatever it was. Because you can tell them exactly how you feel, and because you're so comfortable with that person, you know that how you can say it, when you can say it, and you can work together in whatever it is. But it does go full circle, because once the kids are grown, you go back to being that person's, friend, that person's partner in crime, or whatever.
Yeah.
You're the
Yeah.
he was my Clyde. I was his Bonnie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, my mom always said that. She said that, in the beginning of the relationship, it was all about the fiery passion. And then it's like about the kids. And then when the kids are gone, she's like, then you have to start to get to know, like, oh, who are you now? As a person, like, what type of man are you now? Because it changes. And he had to get to know what type of woman she was. So I'm interested to hear what you have to say, Jags.
I'm kind of right now is measuring and doing something else right now. But
Okay, so I'll hear what Gio has to say.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, it's the fire and all of that. That's good and stuff. But you have to really like a person and become friends with them, because after all the fire is gone, and it's not gone, but it's kind of like, zzz, you know, you have to like that person in order to be with them for the rest of your life. And that's what I experienced. With Philip, it was like fire, fire, fire for a long time, and then it's not like what the fire went away, but it just went, kind of like zoo. And then we were, hey, let's go do this, because by then we had begun to know each other, you know. And I knew how far to go and what to say and this and that and that. And he knew about me. And I didn't have to tell him what I wanted from the grocery store, because he already knew what
Mhm.
I liked. If I went to the grocery store, I knew what to pick up, because we were friends before all of it. And we were friends when, up until he passed away.
Right.
You understand? So you have to have that foundation. You have to. And it took me a little while to learn that. Thank God for therapy, because that's where I went. And to get myself some help and to get healthy thinking myself. Okay? Because if I had not have done that for myself and learned how to love myself and to be a friend to myself, I don't think I would have had a good marriage like I had with Philip.
Right.
you,
That
Any,
is true.
any Anybody else have something to say?
you know how many years I was married before my wife learned I don't like wet meat,
How
like
many?
baked chicken and all that stuff. I don't like my meat to be wet. I can eat baked chicken, but I prefer it not being in water,
Mm-hmm.
any kind of liquid. We've been married 36 years, and she just found out I don't like wet meat.
And you didn't tell her?
You have to
I put
communicate.
it I put it this way. I learned how to deal with things that she do, and she also learned how to deal with things I do.
Hmm.
And at 36 years, I finally told her I do not like wet chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And what did she say? What did she say, Jay?
She said after all this time, she said
All
after
right.
all this time.
Yeah.
Now, when me and my wife we got married, now me, uh, I was a cook. I started cooking when I was what in the restaurant. I think I was 17 when I started cooking in the restaurant. I officially cooked for a family when I was 13. But cooking is all I ever did. When me and my wife got married, my wife she wasn't uh she wasn't a good cook. But because that was my wife, what she cooked, that's what I ate. I didn't complain about it. And that's one of the values of being a soldier that I like. If she cooked, I can adjust it to how I eat. And finally, I guess I just got
You
I
just
don't know. I guess
I
I
think you
was
couldn't take it anymore.
After 36 years.
after all these years, I told her I said I don't like no wet meat
Mm-hmm.
because she'll take the whole chicken and put it in a crock pot, and she'll just it'll cook all day long and everything. And when it's dinner time, you get the spatula and you get the meat. I hate it. I ate it.
Mm.
Well,
But the thing to it is, in marriage, there's a lot of times you got to give and take.
yeah, that's true.
It's not giving it just to say you weak or anything, but my wife is very sensitive. If I tell her, "Oh, this is just pure nasty," well, I'll never cook it again. I don't. Okay, okay, baby. Hey, the kids like it, so why you ain't gonna cook it again? Because you don't like it. Nope, nope, nope. That's not it. So it marriage is a thing where you give and you get.
That's true.
You give and you get, and when the kids are grown and everything, it kind of seems like it starts all over.
Yep. That's what my dad said. He said it wasn't until after 40 years. He said, they got into the biggest fight, and my mom called me crying. And I was like, Mom, what is wrong? He's like, your dad says he does not like that how I fix his socks. They got in the biggest argument. I mean, my dad, he drove off in a huff because my mom used to take the socks and tie it in a knot, and my dad hated that. He's like, I want you to take the socks and put it in a ball instead of knotting it. And my mom said, I'm not. I've been doing that for 40 years. So I guess he got to a point where it was this big argument. He did not like his socks tied in a knot. But he finally told her one day, and it broke my mom's heart.
Yeah.
The craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Mm.
I've been out the military for a long time, but I still military's in me. And the same way I fold my underclothes, my socks and everything, it's a certain way. Whenever my wife she does the laundry and everything, she does it her way. Me, I had to get out of the mode where, well, at least it's clean. And I just had to constantly say to myself, at least it's clean. Because when I put my underclothes and my socks and stuff in my drawer, everything's lined up. Then when she put it in my drawer, my underclothes is the first drawer, my t-shirt second drawer, socks third drawer. She put the stuff up, it'll be in any drawer.
That'd be me.
So I had to kind of readjust myself. At
Right.
least it's clean.
Hmm.
And then I go back later and I put the stuff in the right drawer or whatever. Or now and then she just leaves the clothes sitting in the basket for me to put up. I don't have a problem with that.
Mm.
And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things I did because when I put the clothes up and everything, I look, whether it's her, I don't know what y'all call, I say tank tops. When I look at the clothes and stuff, I try to put it in the drawer where I see the same one. If I see the same item there, I know it's good to put there. But then she'll tell me I put the clothes in the wrong spot. Well, okay, no problem. I don't bother the laundry.
All I have to say is I'm glad for Philip because maybe Philip didn't care. I was like, thank you. And another thing about him I really loved is he loves to cook. And so when we first got together, I'm my authentic self. I'm gonna say, look here, I can cook, but I don't like to cook. Okay, so if you like to cook, you take over the cooking, and I am a generator of money. Okay, I want to have my own business. I want to have, I just laid it out there about what I wanted and needed, and he was okay with it. And he cooked and he made way more money than me because he worked for the railroad as an engineer. Okay. So he was like, cool. And I had never experienced that in my whole life because I married him when I was like in my late 40s. Before that and before therapy, I had nothing but duds. Okay? And
Say that again, Gio. Say that again.
Nothing but duds because I didn't know who I was and what I wanted and how I was to be treated. And when I met him, I was like, Lord. And another thing is that when I met Philip, he just wasn't the type of guy that I probably would have went for if I had not have gotten myself together. You see what I'm saying? Because even then, even though I had myself together, I still looked at him like, well, let me see. But when I started talking to him, and we really spent a lot of time on the phone, really connecting emotionally, is when I said, this guy got something. And look, I married him.
You know what, Gio? I just want to stop you right there because that's a really good thought. I think a lot of times that people get so wrapped up in looks, which I think is, don't get me wrong, nobody wants to be married to frog face, okay?
Yeah.
But you have to have some looks, but I think some people, they go so far into thinking that looks are the full summation of everything, where you got to have something been like what personality, drive, values. You got to have something more than just looks, because let's be honest, everybody, eventually the looks will fade. The looks will fade, and then you got to say, after the looks fade, like, what do I have afterwards?
Right.
Well, I don't. With my wife didn't wear makeup until actually. My wife didn't start putting makeup on until 2000 something. Now I had in my heyday, I had a young lady in Chicago, beautiful lady and everything, and she wrote me a letter and she sent me a picture of her, and she had on, was it purple black lipstick? She had that on, had makeup on. I called her and said, I'm done, and that was it.
What?
I said, that's it. I said, we're done. Because I didn't like all this makeup and everything. I want you for you. I don't want no imitation you where you got to go do your face up and all that stuff. And she messed up because she put on it was blackish blue lipstick. And that's what turned me against her right then. I said, no, we're done. And I haven't spoke to her since.
Well, see, I can understand that, because some of us ladies, we put on a lot of makeup, and then when you get ready to go to bed, you have to take all of that makeup off, and you don't look the same.
True that. But my
That's
thing
all I
is,
gotta say on that. I don't wear a lot of makeup, but I will wear a little powder foundation and some lipstick and maybe some eyeshadow. That's it, because I don't know how to put all that other stuff on.
but my thing is, when you look pretty, why would you put all that mess on? And that's what made me mad to say we're done. She was extremely beautiful, but she put all that mess on. I said, we're done. I don't even want to deal with that.
Why you just didn't tell her, I don't like that? Can you not wear that? Because there are a lot of women that will respect that.
Well, she knew that when I first met her in Chicago, and we talked about it and everything. And she messed up when she sent me that picture with all that stuff on.
Oh, okay.
I pass.
Well, things have changed. You got to put on some lipstick. You can't walk around plain Jane these days. You'll never.
Well, they got lip balm with no color.
No, no. That's
well,
not
I'm gonna be honest with you right now, J3. I am wearing my lipstick. I am gonna put a little stuff under my eyes so that black don't be showing, and I'm gonna wear me some eyeshadow and a little powder. That don't mean that when I take it off, I still look the same, baby, beautiful. Okay, I just add just a little bit.
I'm not trying to get you right now.
And I'm not trying to hit you either, but I'm just trying to say that.
If I was trying to get you right now, I'd be using my AKA name, not J3GS Farms.
Ain't nobody say you was trying to hit
no, I'm just messing with you.
Oh, okay. Baby, I'm finna go 10.
I think Marlene knows my other name.
Yes, I do.
J3, stop playing with me, okay? Because
both of y'all are the same. That's why I'm loving this conversation. Both of y'all love to go to 10.
Because I'm gonna speak my mind. you know. And that's one of the things that Philip really loved about me, because he said he never have to worry about what I'm thinking, because I'm going to tell him. But I always say it respectfully, you know, and I don't say it like condescending. You know, when you do this, I feel this, Philip. And he was, I didn't know that. Why you didn't tell me before? Well, I just got up the nerves to say so, but it don't take that long for me to tell you nothing. Maybe 1 or 2 times you might do it, and I might say, hey, hold up, wait a minute. Because before, Jay, I was not like that. I was more like your wife, like, just let it go on and build up, and then you just fly off the handle. You know, today I'm not that kind of type of girl. I will sit down with you and say, look, this is what's going on, and this is how I'm feeling. In a second, okay? Don't take me no 3 days, not no more.
I think it depends on where you are in your life, you know.
Yeah.
If you've healed from certain things, because it takes some people a long time to,
Right.
based on what they've been through in their life, to be able to say things, because some people don't like confrontation because of the past and their childhood and relationships and blah blah blah. So yeah, that's why some people don't say. But I have no problem, you know. How I portray myself is, I'm definitely the type of person that what I see is who I am. Take it or leave it. You can hit the door, because I got a line of people right behind you that will pick me up.
Amen. That's what I'm talking about.
Lord have mercy.
Whether they want to play players or not, it's still a line.
It's still a line. I mean, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Oh, y'all trying to stay on the sale block, huh?
I look, you know, J3, you need to just stop right now. J3, get a hold of yourself.
I don't know nothing about it. Hey, like I said, I've been locked up for the last 38 years, so hey, I don't know.
I'm glad you locked down, boy, because boy, look here, we be in trouble.
Now I want to ask Nexie what she has to add.
Nexie, you still there? I think her mic might be down.
Maybe.
She's
I don't know.
muted right now.
Yeah, I think she's muted. Maybe she's busy doing something. So yeah, I wanted to say, first of all, thank you to everybody who's in the chat, who's been rocking for the past hour and a half. Thank y'all so much. Of course, if you have something to add to the conversation, let me know. I just want to add to this. You know, one of the things that my mom and my dad always said, that, you know, that like when things change, that the older you get, like the things that you used to like really be important to you, it changes as you've gotten older. And I what used to irritate me is, you know, being the last child, you know, I'm the 10th child, and every time something would happen with my parents, you know, at the end of their life, like the things that you argue about when you get older in a relationship is very strange to me. Like I was saying, how my parents argued about socks. Um, um, I just wanted to ask, like, for those of you who have been married, you know, which is all 3 of you, what has changed? Oh no, maybe her phone died. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but what is some of the things that changed in your relationship that you found that maybe before you wanted to talk, you know, you wanted to, that you could talk about, or things that you would accept, but then later on in your marriage is things that you couldn't accept?
Realistically, in my marriage, we do a lot of talking. We do a lot of circumstances and problems that we have. We do a lot of talking to see where each other's at, and then we kind of play from there, and it seems to work out. As long as we talk about situations beforehand, we seem to be pretty good with it.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm
Nexie,
back. I'm so sorry.
it's
I
okay.
was trying to get my son inside, and he was asking me all kinds of questions. I was like, oh my God. So
It's all
sorry.
good, Maxie.
So what was the question again? I'm sorry.
I was asking, like as your marriage, started to age and you aged as well, what are some of the things that changed within your, like the things that you, before you like loved, like my mom said in the beginning, is things that she loved that my dad used to do that when she got to be older is things that she started to hate. It got on her nerves.
Mm.
Mm.
Child.
Wait, how long do we have?
Oh
How
my
many
God.
how many hours do you have available for this?
Listen, go ahead, Nexie, and start. I got
No,
time.
you know what? There was something I wanted to say in the beginning, but I was, like I said, I was waiting for someone to come home, and I was like kind of looking out the window, so I missed the time and opportunity. But I wanted to say something. When I got married, my mother-in-law became my mom. My second mom, and we got along beautifully. She lived with us 15 years before, then she passed away, but not one fight, not one disagreement. We got along so well that it looked like I was her daughter and my husband was, her adopted child.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling.
Well, he said that he was the adopted child. And so we got along very well. She helped us a lot in the raising of our children, which at the same time alleviated a lot of stress that we would have had we had to take the children to the babysitter or find a sitter that we trusted and things like that. So that helped us a lot. After my mother-in-law passed away, we had to deal with that. You know, you work these hours, then I come this time, and I take care of the kids, and then you can go. So we started going through life, right, as a couple. I think that for me, um, the things that I will say I started not liking is that everything had to have, like, when you have, okay, it maybe in a year or two I'm gonna go to school and I'm gonna come this, I'm gonna try to do it in a year or two. With my husband is, okay, in 2 years this is what's gonna happen, and he expects you to deliver it on those, at the end of those 2 years, on the thing that you said. Or if you were gonna go somewhere and you said, we should leave like around 8, he wanted us to be out of the door at 8 o'clock, and I said, we have kids. So those things, as before, I will just you know what, it's just, my little pet peeve, but oh, he's so cute, he wants us to live in time. Later on I will say, well, they're not ready, I'm not ready, and if you cannot wait, then you go. Those things that it didn't bother me in the beginning started bothering me later on. But I'm not sure if it was because I was still grieving, and my mother-in-law's passing, or because our relationship was different. I'm not sure, but those things started bothering me. Things that I always admired that he did, that he was always on time. If we say we're going to be somewhere at 4, we were exactly there at 4. And I will go the extra mile to get the kids ready, to have everything ready from the night before. So I will stress myself out so that we could leave at that time. After, as we got older, I said, no, they're not ready. We'll be there when we will. And he will make him upset because he wanted it, that
Yep.
person that was, ready and willing to do everything in her power to get to that place at that time, or, leave the house at that time, or complete the task at that time. So, yeah, so he had to get used to the fact that if you don't like it, then, oh, well.
And I will,
Yeah.
I will also add to that too, Nexie. Oh, the thing that used to drive me crazy. I'm by no means a new age. I'm old fashioned. I'm an old fashioned person, but it used to irritate me that I would see, my 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 dad like free and do nothing, and my mom was expected to do everything, and that used to irritate me. I was like, maybe in the beginning, it was fine because that was before you had kids. But now it's not like they had one kid. There was 10 kids involved. And I didn't like that my mom would be frustrated, but she would never say, "Hey, can you help? Hey, can you step up? Don't you see I'm stressed out?" And I never, that used to irritate me a lot. So I think also in that too, that a lot of times as women, we take on a lot on our shoulders, and we
Not
kind of
even.
expect for the husband to see us stressed out, and we expect for him to say like, "Oh, look how stressed out you are." And like the saying goes, like a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So you got to ask for the things you want. Like, "I'm stressed out. Can you please help with the kids? Can you take the kids? Can you get the kids ready?" So that I think that it goes on both sides. That yes, in one account, yes, it's true that maybe they want you to be ready at a certain time, but also I think it's also a woman needs to speak up and to say, "I'm really stressed out. They're your kids too, honey. Can you please help with the children?" It goes on both sides. And I think a lot of times that women, we get a lot of the burden thrown onto us, and we'll feel stressed out, and it's like you're drowning in all of this stress, and then they're like, "Oh, come on, well, what are you doing?" And that adds to it more and makes you more upset, which starts a whole nother argument.
Now, see, that's one of the reasons I was never have no 8 children. Mama had 8 kids. Ain't no way I was
10,
gonna have
10, Gio, 10.
no 8. And I
Oh,
already told my mama, I don't know why, no mother. I will have one. And when I had that one, it hurt so bad, that was it. Wasn't doing it no more, and I meant that. Okay?
now, for,
But let me just say this. I ain't gonna be doing everything in the house. 'Cause that's why I say I don't think I want to get married again. And I know I said that last night, Nexie,
Mm.
because Philip was really good. He helped with everything. And I don't feel like training. I didn't really have to train him. But it's a question on where and who raised you. If a man seen his mama do everything, then he gonna expect for his wife to do everything. I
Mm.
ain't doing that. That's all I got to say.
oh,
Right, Gio. Right, Gio. I,
okay.
I will say, I will add to
Nextly,
that. I will add to that, Gio. I hear what you're saying, but I do think it's important for the relationship to go based on what you both need. I see that relationships a lot of times, like when you stepped into the relationship, yes, it may have been that way, but as you grow and things change, maybe you start having health problems. You can't expect for things to stay the same all the time. It's unrealistic for a woman or the man.
No, I'm not saying if Philip would have, like when he did get sick, of course he couldn't do all of this, but that's why we had a great friendship, and I didn't mind doing what I needed to do and what we all needed to do in what me and him needed to do in the marriage. But I'm just saying through the years, I wasn't about to clean no
uh,
house, make no money, have the children, and that's way too much. I seen my mama go through that.
well, you messed up on the second one that you said.
What you talking about, J3 now?
You said have children, clean up, make money, and clean up house. You shouldn't have to make the money if he was making the money
Why can't I make the money too?
because
Why
you was
J
can't
take,
I do
because
that?
because you was taking
Uh-oh.
care of the house.
No, I
J3.
don't take care of no house,
No.
baby. I can
Okay,
let
okay,
you know
okay.
now.
Let me go back to the beginning.
Yeah, he was gonna ask me something.
Nexie, I
Yes.
think you married my twin,
He
and
said, well, she might what, J3?
I think she married my twin because what she said about her husband is exactly same thing I do.
But
And, and
J3, the thing with us, like I said, we're friends. So to me, it's like if I've never been the type that I'm not gonna voice my likes or dislikes because we were uh, newly wedded, or because we starting we're a new couple. No. My dad raised me totally different than everybody else, so I always did. So the thing is, when I got he was very good at entertaining the kids. Like if I had things to do, he will like play with the kids or take them out to the park so that I can get things ready. But what I didn't like is that, kids want to go to the restroom before you leave. You have to make sure they go. You have to make sure that you're taking everything. And sometimes the blankets or pillows or whatever they like to take, they use them at nighttime. So to get all that ready, you're not going to get up at 5 a.m. Everybody's going to be asleep. You're going to be the only one awake and expect to leave at a certain time. You can't. They're having breakfast. They're throwing a tantrum. You have to clean them up because they got dirty. So the 8 o'clock hour, I always sit around 8ish. We leave around that time. I don't like exactly at 8. I have to be out of the door. So I would say, dude, seriously? And the minute I would say that, he would be like, oh, she's mad now. Like, I didn't have to, be disrespectful or anything. But when that dude came out, he knew I was already up there. And, like my dad will say, run, because she's upset now. But, the thing I liked about him is that from the very beginning, he said, we're going to make a deal. I do the outside of the house and repairs.
Okay.
Inside, you take care of the cleaning of the inside, and we like if I had to cook, and he even bought a mug, a little coffee cup, and he said, I don't do dishes. That's the only thing he didn't do, and he never did. He didn't like doing dishes for some reason. I don't know why. He has never told me why he doesn't like doing dishes. So to compensate for that, he said, no, I'm just gonna buy a dishwasher. And that's it. I'll give you that. Like, can I help you with the dishes? I'll get a dishwasher. But things like that. So he did all of the backyard, the front yard, repair. So I didn't have to be telling him, hey, are you going to clean the backyard or what? Hey, the grass is already like super tall. Are you going to cut it or what? You're not going to mow the lawn. Didn't have to do any of that. Or, the sink is not working. Aren't you going to fix it? Like, I didn't have to. He was on top of everything. So I compensated by being on top of everything in the inside of the house.
See, I told you married my twin. You married my twin.
Your twin has some issues.
Yeah, I just think that you have to talk about what you want and need from a person, or what the marriage is going to be all about.
Yeah.
And also I want to hit realist up where he said J3 tripping respectfully, and how he's saying a woman why you wouldn't want a woman to make up her own contributions.
I think controlling.
But the point, no.
I'm just teasing J3.
Let's go with this.
J3, don't let Gio get you on.
No, he ain't getting
to me all the time.
No, I'm talking about this relentless one. Me and my wife, we made it. Now, I told my wife straight off the bat, I wanted 10 kids. I'm an only child. I said I wanted 10 kids. She stopped at 2. But we inherit 3 others. So I raised a total of 5 kids. But me and my wife came to the conclusion and we discussed it, she would not work until every one of them kids get in middle school, getting ready to go to high school. Mm-hmm. Now, and I tell my wife in a heartbeat, outside the house is mine, inside the house is yours. Mm-hmm. When I used to come, I had a push lawnmower with the blades. Mm-hmm. That is how I did my exercise when I come from work or whatever. Mm-hmm. I come home and the grass is already cut. And why'd you cut the grass? I ain't had nothing to do. Okay, I understand that. I tell my wife in a heartbeat, inside the house is yours, outside is mine. It's been this way all this time, but I don't have a problem doing stuff in the house. Whenever the sink go bad or whatever, I'm on it. Whenever the toilet go bad, I'm on it. Even though the house is hers, there's certain things in the house that I still have to do. Mm-hmm. My wife don't have to do anything outside, but when it comes to inside the house, there's still work that I have to do, and I do it.
So would you wash dishes?
I wash dishes all the time. When I get off of here, I'm going to go wash dishes.
I still have the mug.
Did you make up the bed and take out the trash?
Mm-hmm. My grandson is here. He takes out the trash.
You know what?
Would you make up the bed? What about washing?
This is the bed thing right here. Whoever's the last one out the bed is the one that makes up the bed.
Okay.
I'm out to bed at 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 6 in the morning. So that's her job.
Hmm. Yeah,
Now, when it comes to
that's a
washing
good way.
clothes, when it come to washing clothes, in the early 2000s, I washed clothes and everything. My wife, she was out of service in 2015 because she had back service. I mean,
Mm,
back surgery. So that whole time, I washed, I cleaned, I did everything.
okay, good.
Once she cooked too, once she got back on her feet and everything, she told me I didn't know how to wash laundry.
That's why I don't let anybody else do it but
No,
me.
and that's why I don't do the laundry now because she said I don't know how to do laundry. If I
Mm,
go wash laundry, it's something that I need that I wash straight off the bat. Other than that, she does the laundry.
okay.
There is a certain thing. It's a pet peeve of mine. I like doing laundry because I like folding it a certain way. It's always been done that way. I like hanging things so right away. I like everything put away right away. I don't like missing socks, no pairs. But I have to take. I have to have the control of that. When my kids were, when we first got married, that was my thing, laundry. I like folding it certain ways so that they don't get all wrinkled and stuff. And then the one time I think he did laundry, he left a couple of colored shirts in the whites, and everything turned like pink, like the Pink Panther pink. So from then on, I said, "See, that's why I don't like anybody else doing the laundry because kids don't know. Then teach us. No, no, I'm not. No, I'm not doing that." Once the kids got older, old enough to be able to fold their own stuff, then I taught them how to do laundry, and then I will give them their little baskets. They will put their laundry, they will fold it right away, put it away,
Hmm.
and that was it. I would only do our laundry because they were older, so I didn't have to be doing their laundry.
Right.
My sons, they know how to clean the inside and the outside of the houses. They know how to do laundry. They know how to cook. Not
Oh,
because they're
that's
they're little
good.
men, because they're men, they're not gonna do any of that. No, they had to learn. My son is Army anyway, so he learned that in the service as well. To be able to cook, clean, and everything for yourselves. And my little one, he's already doing all of that since it was little anyway. So I don't believe on the gender roles. That because
No.
you're a girl you can't do that, or because you're a boy you shouldn't touch a pan and a spatula
If
to
you
do
want
no.
a household to succeed, everybody has to do something in that house.
Hmm.
The children, the girls, the boys, the husband and wife, all of them have to actually do something in the house and for that in order for that household to work.
True.
If you got where the wife is doing everything in the house, the husband outside, the children are in their room doing what they want to do, that house is not going to work. You're going to bump heads because everybody feel they got one certain thing to do. But me, a good example. Thursdays, Fridays, and some Saturdays, my wife don't have to cook. Even if I go out and buy food and bring it in, I tell my wife that's me cooking. So
Hmm.
Sunday through Sunday through well
Third.
Saturday through Wednesday, she's supposed to cook. Thursday, Friday, and some Saturdays I cook, and that's the way it's been for the last year or so.
Cool. That's why I say you just have to set boundaries how you want it to go. And that's why it worked so well with me and Philip because I talked about what I didn't like to do. He talked about what he didn't like to do. He likes
Yeah.
to go in there and cook. I like to clean up in the kitchen.
Mm.
But you know you got mad because he didn't cook that chicken the way you want him to cook it. You know,
I got
but
tell me you didn't.
my baby
Tell
was a
me you
good
didn't.
cook, baby. I
but
liked everything he
but
cooked, and I wouldn't didn't have to cook it.
but the way I raised my kids is the same way my dad raised us.
Yeah.
Boys and girls were the same in our because I was raised by my dad.
Well,
We didn't have a mom, so it was just my dad raising six kids. And my dad never made that difference of, because you're a girl, you have to serve your brothers, or because, you're a boy, you're not supposed to cook or clean. No, my dad made everybody boys and girls clean the inside and the outside of the house, cook
Well,
and clean. It was,
Right.
there's no gender roles in here. We
Well,
were
they
all family and we had to
well,
do everything. So that
my
worked for us.
my kids clean up the house. My daughter, she can semi cook. My son, the only thing he can cook is spaghetti, and he's 36 years old, and the only thing he can cook is spaghetti. That's it.
mhm. Wow.
Mm.
Well, I can say that the reason why I am the way that I am is because it was a lot of things that were inconsistent to me growing up. I had older parents, old fashioned, older parents that believed it. They're very conservative, and they thought that there's only things that girls do and there's only things that boys do. And I was, of course, the child that was born in the movement where everybody can do everything. And I used to get lots of discipline, beat actually, for wanting to do what my parents thought that's what a boy does. But in today's society, with how things are expensive, you can't sit and wait for somebody to do something. If something needs to be done right now, it needs to be done right now. I'm not going to wait for somebody to do it. That
That's true.
causes me stress and aggravation. So I couldn't
Yeah.
get down with that.
And also, you probably were a little bit of a perfectionist as well. You wanted
No,
everything to. No, I was.
I never was a well. I can say I'm a perfectionist when it comes to like things that I do for motivational stuff, things that I do here, for business. But other things, no, I'm not.
No, I was. I am. Well, I'm not as much anymore, but I was a perfectionist. So, but with me is I was the last of six. So even though everybody, we all had to clean and we all had to learn how to cook and everything, which we all did. A lot of the times, my sisters or my brothers, if I was brooming or something, oh no, no, it's okay, baby, go play. We got this. So I was spoiled a lot in that way. My dad would get upset. He would be like, "You guys are spoiling her. She has to learn how to clean. She has to learn how to cook and all of this." And my siblings would be like, "Dad, she's still little. She'll learn later on as she gets older."
Well,
But
when we were growing up, my dad had his own business, and he would teach the boys how to make money and take care of their families and stuff like that. And he would tell us girls, we need to find a man that could take care of us, and we need to have children and keep the house. But I used to stand behind that car when he used to be telling my brothers what to do, and I wanted to make the money too. So I come from a family from that. I see that my dad never worked for a person in his life. I didn't want to work for nobody either. I wanted to make my own money. And I did that. I learned how to play the piano, and I got hired by the church when I was 13 years old. I started writing my own lyrics. We had one of the best. I mean, everything. So when I'm with someone, I have a mind business set mind, and that's just the way I am. I don't
yeah,
see nothing wrong with it,
Yeah.
J3.
my dad was
Ye-
different, Gio. My
Yeah.
dad told us girls, you need to learn how to make money. You need to learn how to be self sufficient. Do not expect a man to support you because most of the time you cannot count on one. So you need to learn how to be, independent. Even if you're married, you need to learn how to make your own money because, you have to. If the person you married is not the right one, you are able to support your children without expecting anyone to help you. Yes, you got me right there. Without expecting anyone to pick up, or give you money or pick up the slack for you. So we learned from a very young age, all of us girls, that,
Yeah.
we had to make our own money.
Yeah.
Thank God
That's
I
what.
learned
That's.
that early, because I would have been starving.
I know that's right, GL. I would look like a little skeleton if I was sitting and waiting on a man. Lord have mercy. I'm grateful. I'm an independent boss.
And I like money too, Gio. I like money.
I
So
do too, girl.
when I was little, I will go to my neighbors and do chores for them and charge them a quarter or 50 cents. And I had my little piggy bank. And when my siblings needed money, I will, they will have to sign an IOU. and pay me back. Pay me back the 10 or 15 cents I lent them. The only one that got away with it was my daddy. That man, oh, I adore my dad. So my dad I will give if he ever needed, although he never asked me to. But what I will do is pay the light bill or go pay, the water bill or whatever behind his back. And when he went to pay it, they'll be like, "Oh, it's already been canceled. They already paid it." And my dad knew that it was me. But other than that, and I will charge interest too.
Hmm.
Hey, I had to make my own money.
You have to make a little bit extra, a little bit of gravy
you know
on
what?
that.
Yeah, I think all three of you women, these new age women.
Mm-hmm.
What
Right.
new age women?
No.
This has been going on for a long time. My dad is dead and
neither
gone.
one of y'all over 42 years old. Neither
Yes,
one of y'all.
I am.
I'm way
Neither
over
one of
that.
y'all.
I'm way over that. That's
No,
why
you ain't. No, you
J3,
ain't.
nobody got
J3.
time to be waiting on till you get
Look
paid.
at you, J3.
to
Don't
J3,
be coming up
I
here
am
and
$300.
making
I
no
want
trouble.
give me 1,000.
J3, I am past 40 years old.
No.
Okay. Oh, yes, I am.
No, you ain't.
I have a 35-year-old daughter,
y'all
a
talking trash. Y'all ain't.
33-year-old. No.
J3,
Seriously,
stop.
my
You
eldest
stop
is
it right
35. My eldest is 35. Then I have a 33, 32, and 22.
I ain't asked you nothing about their waist size. I'm
So
just saying,
they're old already.
No,
And I am past 40 years old.
no,
Trust
ain't
me.
nothing.
But
These three women up here, ain't none of y'all past 40.
oh my
now.
God.
He's just trying to,
Marlene.
Y'all got these young women ideas.
Marlene, send me the address.
Ain't no new age women.
Yeah.
This is the way you
He
supposed
about to
to
get kicked off my chat. That's what he about to get.
Y'all got these women. You got these young women ideas.
You know what I think? It's not so much that I think that my dad, he was way ahead of his time. My dad wasn't someone that was gonna, maybe because of my mom not being in the picture. I think that's probably what propelled him to say, you know what? No, I have to make sure my girls are not someone that are gonna have to be dependent on no man.
Thank you.
I want them to be self-sufficient because life.
Period. Next.
Life.
Period.
I'm not gonna starve.
The women's movement had already started. We were the 70s were crazy, and I think my dad saw all of that and said, you know what? No, my girls are going into this new era that guys are. I don't know if they're gonna be okay with all this craziness that is going on. So he always made sure that we were protected, by him and everything, but that we can actually protect ourselves as well. And I do the same things with my girls. I taught them that they have to earn their own money, that they have to work, they have to go to school, they have to be self-sufficient. Because if something ever happens to their husband, let's say they're married, if something ever happens to whoever they're with, the last thing you want is for the husband to not be able to be in a hospital bed because he's worried how he's going to pay the rent. No.
Period. Next.
Speak, Nexie. Tell J3 where it's
a good woman.
J3, I'm gonna be. Thank you, Marlene. I'm gonna be a grandmother for the first time in November 1st. My daughter came today, which is why I'm a little late to the live. She was here. She's still here in her brother's room talking to him right now. But she's just gonna be. She's a brand new mom coming this November, and she is a very, my eldest doesn't have any kids, doesn't want any. But, she has her degree, and now she's a very well-known chef. She makes this amazing food. She has her own company with her best friend. They have a catering business on the side of their jobs. But my daughter is always working. Even right now, she barely stopped working. She's like, I'm going to stop a month. She wanted to stop 2 weeks before she delivered, but the doctor told her no. Because of the type of work you do, you need to stop at least, a couple of months before. So she just stopped working, and she has everything settled for her. She's never been someone that depends on anyone, and I love that about her. And her husband is an amazing guy too. They're both hardworking and everything, but they complement each other as well. And
J3 likes control.
Oh,
I don't know where you get that from.
I just did a segment on
Gio.
how to let go of control. You
Gio,
have
don't
been
go there,
so
Gio.
much
Now
better,
with J,
J3.
now with
My-
J3,
Hey,
he's a
my
very
wife
nice
is not gonna.
man.
My wife is not gonna come in here, but she'll tell you I don't control nothing.
Nope. He
He
doesn't
up
look
here
like that type of.
talking noise. He trying to control us because he can't. Well,
No, I'm not gonna.
Uh-oh.
Listen.
Gio,
Uh-oh.
God
Gio,
only gave me one
Gio,
woman to so-called be the head of.
Gio.
all right,
And
J3. I
I've
did
only
not.
got one woman to be ahead of, and that's it.
All right then. Let's
It's just that
move
it's
on.
just that you three ladies trying to talk like y'all under the age of 40.
Be quiet, J3, because you
Oh
started
my
this
God.
mess.
No,
Messy,
not at all.
messy,
And the
messy.
thing is, the first thing we need to think, like, at least for me, it's always been, I have to behave that I want my children. I have to behave the way I want my children to behave. And, I live by example. I'm not that type that do as I say, not as I do. No, I don't believe on that crap. I'm going to show you what I do
No?
so that you can see that I worked my tail off to get to where I am. And guess what? You're going to have to do the exact same thing.
Well, I seen my mother work out her bones to the gristle. I guess. Well, I never had a daddy either. I
You're
had
a
a
good
daddy.
man.
I had a daddy for 6 years, and then the last 2 years of his life, he was here. I was still trying to get things straight then between me and him. To okay, you my daddy. Let's act like a daddy. And he left this earth, really still not being a daddy.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom taught me everything basically.
Mm-hmm.
So hey,
Yeah.
You're a good example, Jax, because I can say that it's not a lot of men out there that you know they'll make the excuse to say, I didn't have a father in my life, so I don't know how to be a man, so I can't be a good man
no,
and a good father.
Mm-hmm.
But I can say that my father,
that's
he never had his father around, and he raised 10 children, and all of us had our head on straight.
that's what made me a good man because he wasn't around.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you never use that as an excuse.
You don't have
Right.
to choose your past or that you didn't have a father. You can choose to be a good father to your kids. You can
Yes.
choose to
Yes, you
to
can.
change that
Yes.
whatever was back there. You don't have to be like that. And see, that's what I learned in therapy, that I can be who God intended for me to be. I don't have to be like my mom or my dad. I am
Mm-hmm.
like, gee,
Exactly.
Exactly.
I met my dad when I was 13. I lived with him till I was 18.
mm-hmm.
I left and went to the military. My kids used to call my dad their uncle because his nickname was Uncle Junior. And when my kids met him, he never got it straight to say, "I'm your granddaddy."
He
Me and my
couldn't.
wife, me and my wife both, we would just walk around, listen, and he would never correct them and say, "I'm your granddaddy." He would let them kids call him Uncle Junior until I got
Mm-hmm.
all my kids together. That is not your uncle. That is your granddaddy.
He
Mm-hmm.
couldn't.
And
He couldn't say that.
and he couldn't say it because he wasn't a daddy to me. So
He did. Yeah, he
Mhm.
didn't
that's
earn
what,
that title. He didn't
He
earn
didn't
that
earn it.
title.
and
You gave it to him.
and that's one of the reasons my kids. I think my kids got it easy because of the way I didn't have a father, so I make sure they have a father and
That's
that they
good.
do things right.
That's
Right.
good. How many
So
kids do you have?
she stopped it too, but we raised three other.
Oh,
5. So you're a dad of 5.
Right.
That's great,
wow.
J3. I think from just hearing you talk and knowing a bit of your background, I think you're an excellent father. You did
Mm-hmm.
good.
I try to be because I don't want my kids to be like the kids in the street
Nope.
and they use the excuse,
Mm-hmm.
my parents didn't do this, my parents didn't do that.
Mm-mm.
I think I actually spoiled my kids because I did too much to make sure they stay on the right road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you didn't want them to probably feel like you felt.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have 4, two boys and 2 headaches, and
What
And
did you
I'm
say?
telling
Two
you,
boys and two headaches.
Hey,
As I went through with my therapy, I realized that sometimes our parents didn't get what they needed to get from their parents, and they only had
they
what
have
they
to, you know,
had.
they're older. I'm putting them up for adoption.
Yeah,
but
When
but
they
they
got home, he said,
only
no
knew what
adoption, no
they
adoption.
knew. That was hard for me to swallow, but I just, you know, for my story, I just forgave my dad.
now
Okay.
Me
my
too.
dad's parent, I first met them in '77, and they used to tell me how they used to take care of me and everything before I went to New York. But I met them in '77, and those were the perfect grandparents to have
Mm-hmm.
until the day that they died. They were outstanding grandparents. I don't know. I think he might have been adopted, or she might have found him on the doorstep somewhere
You
because
know, J3, no,
he's
no.
got the same name, but he doesn't have the same. He
The
didn't have
same
the
heart as
same
them.
mindset, or he.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
No, Jay. I am going to be the perfect grandparent. Your grandparents cannot be the perfect ones.
They
Because
were.
it's gonna be you.
They were.
It's going to be me.
You was like, what happened to him, huh?
Yeah, how dare you? No,
You
but you
you
know what? It's
you know
true
what really
though.
made me mad?
Hmm.
When my stepsister jumped up, she said, "Well, brother, you're now the patriot of the family." That made me mad.
Wow.
I don't want to be the oldest one in the family.
I heard that. I'm glad I'm not. My sister is, and she be
No,
complaining about it
I'm the
too.
I,
I'm the oldest grandson.
I'm the youngest, and
I'm the
I
oldest
minded up being.
grandson on both sides, my mother and my father's side. I'm the oldest grandson,
I'm
and
the youngest.
my dad was the oldest one, but he don't count. So
Mm.
Well, I don't understand my role. I'm the youngest, but I'm still in charge of everything.
That's me, Marlene.
that's because you have the mindset and
It's very
ability.
aggravating. I don't want the title. I try to give it back to them, but they won't take it.
Yeah, me too. Me
It's a
too.
totally different mindset. You have a different mindset than what they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my siblings do the same. I was telling you this the other day, Marlene, wasn't I?
Yes,
They
you
like,
were.
we're gonna do this, and then they're like, what do you think, Lexi? Shall we do it? I'm like, what do you mean?
Everything
You guys
everyone
are the
asks you.
oldest. Why do
Yeah.
why do I have to make a decision? But it's really good because, you know, we decide whatever we are going to do as, you know, as siblings together.
Yeah, it's a family.
It's a
Mhm.
family, yeah. And
Right.
my mom lives in probably like 3 hours away from me now. But since, you know, we weren't raised with her, so it's kind of like um they don't really go to her. Like I don't know, it's weird. So they
Mhm.
always come
I
to me
understand.
for everything.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
I'm gonna
well,
have to leave,
everybody.
guys.
I was
Marlene,
just, I
I'm
was just
gonna have
about
to
to say the
go.
same thing. I was about to say that, Gio, that I was just about to end the live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I
Hey,
was. I
we
was.
need to do a part 3, Marlene.
Yeah,
Not a problem.
we're gonna
I
do a
got
part three.
packages I gotta get ready to be shipped out in the morning.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah. We're gonna do a part 3 on Thursday night. So
Yay!
look forward to that. So thank y'all. Thank you, Jags.
J3, you better
Nexie,
be here. Miss Gio?
what
Gio.
time Thursday?
Always the same time, 9:30 Eastern.
Well, I'm gonna get it off your chest at 9 o'clock.
Oh.
Me and
Well,
Mm.
Odoms. Me and Odoms.
how long do you usually stay?
About an hour and a half.
Oh, well,
Mm.
the next time,
Yeah.
next time you're
Yeah,
free.
next time.
Thank you for joining
Not a
me,
problem. Not a
everybody.
problem. I enjoy you,
Thank
Okay.
ladies,
you.
and you
Yeah,
folks in the chat.
Thank
Hey,
you. It was a pleasure
yeah,
talking
thank
to
you.
you.
yeah.
You too.
Yeah.
Shout out
It
to
was
the
nice
chat.
to talk to you, J3. Really, I really enjoyed that. I got to know you a bit, and you're not such a big bully either.
I,
You're a nice guy.
you got me mixed up with some other fella.
Bye, J3.
I'm just teasing you, J3.
Not a
Marlene,
problem.
Uh-huh.
you
Yes.
gonna stay behind?
Yep. I'm gonna stay behind. So thank
Okay,
you,
good.
Jags,
Bye,
and
Thank you.
Thank you.
everybody.
Y'all have a good
bye,
one
Bye,
now.
Miss Gio.
guys.
Bye.